The digital world moves fast, but real growth comes from real conversations. This is e-Coffee with Experts, where marketers and founders share what's actually working in SEO, AI, and digital growth. Grab your coffee and fuel your mind as we chat with top minds about their wins, struggles, and lessons you won't find in a blog post. Brought to you by Digital Web Solutions, we bring real talk to help you grow your business, one episode at a time. Let's get started.
Hey, hi everyone. Welcome to your show E-Coffee with Experts. This is your host Ranmay here. And today we have Joyce, who is the Director of SEO and GEO at FICO with us. Hey Joyce, how's it going?
Good, thank you, Rania. How are you doing? I'm happy to be here.
Lovely, doing well. Joyce, before we move any forward, let's get to know more about your journey. Why don't you talk us through, how did you land up in the SEO space? How were you growing up as a kid? And also a bit about FICO. What do you guys do? What are your core offerings? And we'll take it off from there.
Great, that sounds good. Well, I have been in SEO for a long time. I first heard about it when I was in school, in business school in 2011. I had a couple of classes, had a guest speaker from Yahoo that was talking a lot about his SEO journey, and I thought that sounded really interesting. And then, I started looking for my first real job, and I started working in agency at Starcom in Chicago. I had a wonderful manager, Kelly, who really taught me a lot about the SEO basics. And from there, I just fell in love with it, and I've been in SEO ever since. I just really love how SEO challenges you really creatively and technically, and it's always changing, and there's a really strong community of people who are passionate about SEO, so it's easy to learn from other people. And I feel like it really pushes you think as a user, and that I think makes you a good SEO and a good marketer. Whatever industry you're working in, the best practices are fairly similar, but you really got to put yourself in the shoes of the other person. And if I was in this position and was looking for this solution or this product, what would be my pain points? What would I want to solve? And I feel like that just is so interesting to me. I love it.
Lovely. You have been on the agency side of things, Joyce, for quite some time. And now you have switched to the brand side of things, right?
Yes.
And like we were talking about it in the green room, how different are the challenges from being on the other side of the table?
I would say that's a good question. I think the challenges in agencies I'll start actually with commonality that I've noticed is that in both cases, you have to make the case for your recommendations. You can't, wherever you're an agency, or now at FICO in-house, you cannot come to the rest of the team and say, just trust me, do it, I think it's gonna work out. In both cases, you really have to leverage your experience, leverage some data to really make a case for your recommendation. I think what is different is that when you're an agency, you have to convince your client, and then the client has to convince their team. And then there are internal challenges that you're not privy to. Whereas when you are in the in-house yourself, then you can make the case for your own recommendations, and you're much more aware of the internal challenges. So you can work around them and really try to tailor your recommendations for something that you know is possible. So I feel like that can get better received when you're not working in an agency. I would say that's been the main difference for me so far. And one thing I'm really excited about is, being able to implement more, to do more, because I'll know better what the work in the company is, what the needs and what the challenges. So I feel like that's a difficulty in agencies. You're very dependent on what gets implemented by the client, whereas this time, I'm the one who is implementing. So I'm very excited about that.
Lovely. And moving on, there has been a lot of updates, or the industry has really evolved in the last couple of years with all the AI and machine learning and the automations that have come into our lives, right? So how are you approaching SEO differently in an SGE and AI answer world? And what strategies do you feel are no longer working? And what's outperforming expectations there?
I think more than ever, you really have to anticipate what the users could need and what they'll ask next. I feel like when I first started in SEO, there was a lot of trying to write as much as possible I would say there is a before and after the helpful content update, in my opinion, where beforehand, companies used to write a lot. Like if you're looking at HubSpot, for example, I think one of the reasons behind their big decline that everyone was talking about is that they were really targeting some high-level keywords that were bringing a lot of traffic, but were not super relevant to them. And that worked for a long time, but I feel like this is really not something that companies should do anymore. I think what I have seen work the best for CG and just GEO in general is really tailored content that is covering more the mid to the bottom funnel, more long tail keywords, and that integrates within an overall content strategy. You can target more of a high level keyword, but then think about, if you are looking, for example, with FICO, if I'm looking for an optimization company, then if I'm the client, what will I think about next? What will I need in terms of a case study or, a white paper or any kind of other content? What do I need next to help convince myself that the solution is right for me? And I really like as well integrating FAQs on a page or try to build a cohesive content journey for the user. So I find that this has been working the best in my opinion. And also looking outside your website. So how are people talking about your solution on Reddit or on Twitter or in articles in your industry? I feel like that gives you it makes you very privy to what your company's strength or shortcomings can be, and then you can address that on the website. So really, user first is I guess SEO has always been user first, but really think about what is the user looking for and what will they look for next.
Absolutely. Talking about that, what are your go-to tools when it comes to, all the AI tools out there? I'm sure there are a lot of options and people are using a lot of automations tools out there. But what is your go-to tool? I mean, if you were to pick your top three.
Do you mean for SEO alone or some AI tools?
Some AI tools. I mean, anything that kind of eases out your life or, let's say day-to-day ops. Yeah.
Well, I would say I have been it's not exactly an AI tool, but I have been a big fan of SEMrush for a long time. And I feel like it really gives you a really good competitive analysis, recommendations, and I feel like it really helps with that thinking about the overall user journey. I have been using, like everyone else, like ChatGPT and Claude, just like as a user, recommend me solutions that do X, Y, Z, leave out a client or compare that sort of thing. So really try to understand how the tools are thinking and how I can then optimize my content so that it fits how the tool is thinking. And then for reporting, I'm kind of still in the market for a solution that will help me track AI presence better. Some SEMrush here and then webdev.io for certain things and then, just like manual checking for other things. But I don't know if there is a perfect tool out there that would give me the number of AI overviews for my target keyword, what I'm missing, what competitors ranking for, where I'm mentioned in ChatGPT, how much AI referral traffic I get. I don't know if it exists, but if someone's watching this and knows about this tool, send it to me. I want to know.
Lovely. And Joyce, you have been in the space for quite some time. In your experience, how can SEO and content leaders prevent performance plateaus when scaling operations at an enterprise level?
I would say I would recommend not planning too long in advance, especially when I'm thinking about content planning or long-term SEO planning. I feel like sometimes we want to do a yearly plan and then things changes and we just feel kind of like imprisoned almost by our long-term plans. So I think trying to think maybe a quarter or two ahead is enough. I think really, as I said earlier, but really listening to your users. I feel like sometimes as marketers, it's hard to not think about our solution in the terms that we describe it internally. And I think being too married to your own lingo can be a mistake because that's not how users are going to look for you. I think the content pruning is becoming more and more important. I think a lot of the remnants of past SEO strategy. I see it all the time on big websites where you still have blog posts from 10, 15 years ago. I think like embracing really content pruning and being okay with parting with what doesn't serve you anymore. I think that is a great way to plan an SEO strategy that remains relevant. And then I think you have to try not to focus too much on immediate results. SEO never is really immediate results, but I think sometimes we want to, gain more traffic, and an easy solution for that is to target top of the funnel keywords, short tail keywords. I think thinking a little more about what is the long-term payoff. At the end of the day, we all want more leads, more revenue, more conversions. So even if those keywords or a certain strategy on paper doesn't seem like it's going to yield a ton of new traffic or very significant results right away, but you feel like it's the right move for your generating leads or generating revenue, I think it's worth pursuing as well.
Absolutely. And talking about, now that you've joined a brand, right? I mean, and then you were in an agency for quite some time. And like we were talking about it, now you would have more control in terms of how would actually, to actually make things happen versus going through the approval process like you would if you are on an agency side of things. Now, taking a cue from that, how do you think, the budgeting system works for agencies, when the marketing budget for the year or, I know you are still kind of learning the ropes in the brand, but how do you think the budgeting kind of works out from a brand perspective for agencies if they're partnering out with agencies?
So I feel like I just want to make sure I understand your question properly. You asking how companies are, what sort of budget they put behind okay, that makes sense. I think I hear often that, SEO is free and stuff. I think that's a really incorrect notion because, you pay for the person, you pay for the tool and everything.
Yeah.
I think it's a little more budget friendly than some of the other marketing solutions or, the marketing tactics out there. I can't really tell you much about the budgeting side of the brand right now. I feel like at least for agencies, I guess I'm thinking more about budget in terms of time, because I think for SEO, you often have a flat fee and then it's how much time you want to dedicate. So I would say that doing it, if you are able to put maybe 8 to 10 hours a week to your SEO strategy and really think about doing it consistently, I think that's when you get the best SEO results, unless you have a person in-house, and of course you can dedicate a lot more time. But if you're working with an agency and you're able to have like 8 or so hours a week for SEO, I think that's the best way to go. Really, I think consistency is the key with SEO. It's like working out. You can't do it 5 hours in one day and then nothing for a month. Like you really have to keep building on your SEO strategy.
Absolutely. Talking about strategy, how do you think marketers should, kind of rethink about keyword strategy, SERP intent when optimizing for AI first engines like Perplexity, SGE or ChatGPT or the different LLMs out there?
I think the main thing is to think more about long tail keyword, more in-depth keyword. That's not to say that you can't target high-level keywords, but when I'm looking at some research that I've done on what returns the most AI overview, what gets indexed most, it's predominantly keywords that are full words or more with an intent that is more educational, bottom of the funnel. It's not really salesy keyword. It's not really definition keywords. And definition keywords may get you there, but it's really usually not the keywords that have a link attached to them or a citation attached to them. So, you can say I'm into AI overview, but are you going to see traffic and conversions from those? Not really. I think thinking in terms of content collection is a really good way to do it. You can target a high level data analytics keyword and then think about all of your subtopics, some industry, by audience, by use case. You can have a definition in there if you want as well. But other long tail keyword, the pain points, all of those I think are really will lead you the best results. I would say as well, having a consistent voice across all of your platforms is really something that I encourage because those tools are pulling from everywhere. So, if you can repurpose some assets or try to have a campaign that is consistent, try to target similar keywords in SEO and paid and talking about similar topic on your social media and monitoring your social media for what people are talking about. Just try to be consistent all across your marketing channel. The last one, I think it's something that we have to learn as SEOs as well. We have to be okay with less traffic. I think organic traffic is going to keep decreasing, especially considering that the SERP now is showing more and more AI overviews and less clicks. So I think that's just a reality that we have to get used to it. So being okay with less traffic, but tracking other KPIs that are more relevant. So, user experience and time on site and pages that were visited and clicks on internal pages and conversions and mentions in AI tools, all of that stuff I think is a much better KPI than organic traffic now.
Lovely. Great, yeah, Joyce. Thank you so much for the insights that you have shared today. This has been a great session. I'm sure our audience would really love the insights you shared. And for our audiences, if they want to reach out to you, Joyce, how would they do that?
I think LinkedIn is probably the best way. It's if you look at first name, last name, lucky me, I'm the only one with that first name, last name combination. So you'll find me right away. Feel free to send me, an invite or a message or anything. As I said, I love SEO. I love to talk about SEO with the SEO community. So any questions or any insights that you would want to share, I would love to hear about it.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Joyce, for taking our time to do this with us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to be here as well.
Thank you.